Yeah, how's the spring going?
It's been going good. It's obviously, we lost a lot of talent, but, I think we've done a very good job as an offense and developing our identity and, finding ways to make up for those losses. And I think guys have stepped up, and that was the biggest thing. Guys have stepped up in their different positions, and, I think things have gone really well so far.
What is the spring going to be for you? Is it about seeing what you got, or is it already about refining some of it?
I think it's just always, focusing on getting better. But more than anything, it's about us. It's not about me. It's not about me taking over or anything like that. It's, like I said, about us developing our identity, and it's us meshing and molding into who we want to be as an offense and as a unit. So.
Mason was just talking about, new leader, and you kind of took over right away. Students, Jayden, after the last game. How do you tangibly do that? Like, do you get in the group chat and just go, hey, boys, the workout is at 5 a.m., or what was the first step?
Yeah, it's just through relationships. These are guys I've been around for a long time. These are guys that I spent a lot of time with. And, we've just built relationships over time, and it's easy when it's done that way. I think that's important, especially in my position and playing quarterback. It's having relationships with your teammates. So, we spend time on the weekends together. We do whatever. And I think that's where it starts. It's building relationships with those guys. So.
Is there kind of an attitude or a mantra of, like, guys, JD5 is out, but it's not going to drop off, or Malik is out, Kai, you're the guy. Is there kind of an attitude going into 2024?
No. You can't focus on the 2022 or 2023, 2024 LSU football team is gone. It's no longer. It's now us, and it's our team. It's not a diss at those guys. Obviously, we have lots of respect for them and everything they taught us and they showed us. But it doesn't matter anymore for us. Now it's about what we do, and it doesn't matter that we won 10 games and whatever in back-to-back years. It doesn't matter anymore. If we go 5-5 or 5-7, whatever it adds up to this year, it doesn't matter. So now it's about us and who we want to be. And I'm sure if you ask those guys that are gone, they would say the same thing. It's about what we want to be and what we want to do this year, and the level and the standard that we are holding ourselves to.
With Brian and Malik gone, how is that receiving room taking shape? And we always make a big deal about, okay, who's the one, who's the two, who's the three. Do we not even need to think about that? It's just guys going out for passes.
Yeah, we have a lot of athletes in there, a lot of guys that can make plays. And I think they've all stepped up. Everybody has taken the advantage of their opportunities, and they're doing whatever they can to help and play at a high level. And I think our chemistry and right now our explosiveness has been very, very good because of that. So.
Tell me about your offensive line. As a guy that's going to take over, as the first full-time starter, imagine it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. No, it's a blessing. When you're back there and you got those guys in front of you, it's a feeling of safeness almost, I guess you could say. Those are guys that they're dogs. They're very good. They're strong as a unit. They got the best O-line coach in the country. And they care about each other. They care about our team, and they care about doing things the right way. And I think that's the most important thing. They're a solid group, in our offense and even on our entire team that just is an example of what we want to be. And and they set a great example. They do it with action and they do it with words. And guys like Will and Emery and Dellinger and Miles Frazier and even DJ stepping up. They've all done a great job. And they're really stepping up as leaders, and it's an example for us to look at as an offense.
I'm not going to downplay your athleticism, but would you look at the way maybe Joe ran the ball, like effective when need to be, and not necessarily an all-time threat? How do you?
Yeah, I think having some sort of running ability to keep a defense honest is important. And I haven't had a chance to showcase that or do that yet. And it'll come. And I understand. And everybody knows that that's not my play style to be running 50% of the time. But I think it's important to run 15% of the time. Or when things aren't good, and you got to get a couple third downs a game with your feet. And I know that. And whenever it's there, I'll take it. So, I wouldn't say that, my focus is showing everybody how athletic I am. I don't really buy into that or listen to anything that's said about me or us. I'm just focused on doing things the right way, and when it's time for me to run, then I will do it. So.
We were talking to Mason. He said little bit more 12 personnel. I think we're all expecting the tight ends to be a little bit more involved because of that aspect, not necessarily being in the game plan anymore. So, how are you seeing their development and inclusion?
Yeah, they've done a great job. All of them. Mason and Pimpton and Mac and Gio and the entire room. They've all done a great job. And it's Mason is an unbelievable talent, and having him in the room, it also gives those guys like Pimpton and Mac who are younger, it gives them somebody to look, to learn from and look at, and Mason does a great job leading, not in a way of like, hey, look at me, watch how I do it, more of like a, hey, like we can do this together, let me show you, let's work through this, let's talk through this, and I think he's done an outstanding job in that, and he does everything he's asked to do extremely well, and he's a serious weapon and a serious threat.
I think I saw a quote attributed to you saying 10 wins isn't good enough anymore.
Yeah.
You said that recently.
Yes.
Can you expound upon that?
Yeah, no, I think if you asked any of us that, we'll tell you we don't believe that that's the standard anymore. Going into year 3, in this system and not even on the field, but off the field and how we do things on a daily basis, how we act, how we move around this building, how we do things outside of this building, it's all changed. And we hold ourselves to the standard to where we believe, like I said, 10 wins is not enough anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, we have to win a national championship. That's not how we think, but it's about the little things. It's about doing the little things the right way, and that leads to a championship culture.
Is it hard to create that urgency in March, or
no?
Or
I think Coach Flint and the strength staff have done an outstanding job of expressing that urgency to us. Now, you can't just start that in fall camp. That's not how it works. You can't just pretend that you've been putting work in all offseason at a standard and then think you're going to hold yourself to it when it's time to play football games. So it starts now. It started right after bowl game. It started after bowl prep and off-season workouts. That's where it first started. And I think they had a sheet the other day of numbers of the amount of misses and the amount of different things that we're supposed to do on a daily aspect. I think you guys have heard about our questionnaires and things like that. And if you look at our numbers now compared to what they have been, it's unbelievable. And I think we've turned a page, and that's our focus.
Joe Sloan, offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I've said it many times, but it's an amazing feeling as a quarterback when, your quarterback coach and also your offensive coordinator, you have that relationship with him to talk through things. And, he believes in you, and he's going to push me to be the best that I can be at all times. There's no slacking off. There's no excuses. There's nothing. And he expects me to do things at a very high level. And for me, that's the best thing possible. I want to be pushed. I want somebody who's going to expect and demand the most from me. And, I think he's done an amazing job. I think his track record speaks for himself, for the numbers that he's been able to put up with quarterbacks and in his offenses. And, I'm really excited. I think it's very explosive and, very dominant in the run game also. And I think it's going to be something fun to watch.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yep.